Okay, hello students. This is the last topic of sound, that is characteristics of sound. I have already told you in brief in the first topic of the chapter itself. So let's discuss a little bit more about these characteristics. So we already know that sound is a longitudinal wave, and it travels in a way that there will be parts of compression and rarefaction will be formed in the when the energy moves, the sound energy moves. Okay. So if we talk about these amplitude, frequency, time period, wavelength, and speed, we'll see it one by one. How does that work? So wavelength is, basically when the cycle starts and the when cycle ends. So that will be one wavelength. So there will be one crest, one drop, one crest, one drop, like that. And that's how you can calculate how many wavelengths are there in the, you can say, in sound waves. So here there is one, right? Because here, see, this is one cycle being completed. Okay. Now, if we talk about the amplitude, okay, let's go into the slide and then we can discuss there. Okay, so amplitude, first we have discussed that it is the maximum displacement of the particle from their rest position during the wave propagation. Okay, so let's imagine that particles are resting here, right? And they have moved to certain extent and then came back. Okay, after moving, right, up and down. So what will happen is the maximum displacement, this or this, is going to be the amplitude, and this is going to define the loudness of a sound. So if there will be maximum displacement more, the sound will be more loud. If it is very less, the sound will be very soft. Maybe you are whispering in this case, but you are screaming in this case. Okay, and it is measured in meters. Okay, so amplitude determines how much energy the sound wave carries, which we perceive as loudness. Okay, now let's discuss about the loudness, the pitch, and the quality. So loudness is basically because of amplitude we discussed, right? And it is measured in decibel. Now, if we talk about pitch, so pitch is depending on basically the frequency. Okay, so high frequency means high pitch, and low frequency means low pitch. So frequency is, let me just tell you here, that how many waves are happening in a certain period of time. If it is more, okay, like this is 1 second, let's say. Okay, and here only this much in 1 second. So here the frequency is more because more, number of cycles are being completed in given amount of time. Here, less cycles are being completed or less wavelength, right? So what wave numbers, right? So wavelength numbers, basically. So what happens is here, the pitch will be low and here the pitch will be more. And in girls, usually you will see the pitch is high after there are secondary sexual characters being developed in a girl and a boy. What happens is boy's voice becomes more hoarse. Okay, it becomes loud, but also the pitch has been reduced. Okay, less pitch is there. But in girl's voice, the pitch is more. The quality distinguishes the different sources producing the same note. So maybe a guitar and a flute can have different, quality because the sources are different. So even the note is same or the chord is same, you will feel the quality different. Okay. Okay, right. Now coming to audible versus inaudible. So there are, certain hertz below which we cannot, hear, or above which we cannot hear. So we have already only, certain amount of audible range. That means you might have sometimes seen, dogs or animals or cats behaving differently before a tsunami, maybe. Okay, you might have heard about this, or they sometimes behave or birds behaving in a very different manner. Okay, very strange manner that you get surprised or shocked. So that is why, because they can sometimes hear or feel the sound, below or above the audible range. The audible range for us, for humans, is 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. So sometimes they might ask you a question directly like this. So this is the audible range and it is calculated in hertz. Now, range of frequency humans can hear. If the sound is less than 20 hertz, it is infrasonic. Okay, and this is used by elephants for long distance communication. Humans cannot hear these sounds. So see, organisms are talking, but you cannot hear. And you say you can't understand them. You can't even hear them. Okay, and there is ultrasonic speed. Okay, so above 20 hertz is the ultrasonic speed used by bats for echolocation. So they find out different things, caves and all, and food by echolocation. So this is helped in sonar and medical imaging as well, more than ultrasonic waves, sound waves. Okay, now let's do some questions. I love this part because I know I have taught, so you will be able to solve this. So I hope like you'll try to do this. Okay, so the first question is, loudness of sound depends on frequency, amplitude, speed, or wavelength. Okay, I think you can get it. Let me boil it down to only two options: frequency and amplitude. Now you try to figure out. Okay, if a sound wave has frequency of 340 hertz and wavelength of 1 meter, its speed is this. You can calculate, I think. If you can't, just let me know, because I haven't taught this, but you know the relation. Okay, you can figure out the relation. If you can't, we will obviously discuss in a regular class. Okay, that will take some time. Okay, now humans can hear sound in the range of around 2 hertz to 200 hertz, 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, and 200 hertz to 200 kilohertz. Okay, and none of these. So this is what we have discussed so far. We talked about amplitude, how it determines the loudness. We talked about frequency, how pitch determines the frequency, or frequency determines the pitch of the sound. Time period inverse of frequency. So F is equals to 1 by T. Okay, wavelength is the spatial measurement of one cycle, and speed, rate of propagation through the medium. Then we discussed about sonar and everything else. So thank you so much for watching the session. I hope you enjoyed. With this, we are done with one more chapter, that is sound, and we'll talk yet more. I think one chapter is left. We'll do that, and we'll be done with the complete syllabus. Then after that, you can bring out your questions, or maybe if you want extra classes, or some particular topic you want to study, you can contact me. Okay, thank you so much for joining. Take care. Bye bye. See you soon.